Hi, this is Bill Ratner. I'm the voice of Flint on G.I.Joe, and this is Knowing is Half the Podcast, which is actually an appropriation of the original saying, knowing is half the battle, which was used in a number of public service announcements that have now been burlesqued on YouTube by a number of individuals, and I don't think there's a copyright issue at all. Have a good day.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to your favorite G.I. Joe podcast show. Chan, you're looking like you're mad at me for not maxing out the...
You've gotten more muted as we've gotten closer to the end.
Yeah,
it's just sad.
I've changed all the levels because you were a screaming maniac, and now you're coming in with like, hey everybody,
It's like
the
the podcast is at the end of its life. Ray is at the end of his life.
Oh man, guys, it'll be so sad when I have to put on my best suit at the last episode.
I'm honestly more excited for like the future of this podcast than I have the entire time we've been doing G.I. Joe. So like I'm having to turn down my goddamn levels now because Ray is
one of us always needs to be loud and excited at all times. So you stepped into that role. Now I'm going to be the grumpy, curmudgeonly one, and Ray is going to be the one that's obsessed with dicks and food.
Well, that's already true, right? Guys, we've become each other.
Yeah,
symbiosis into a three-headed monster.
Also, that's not the word you should be using. That's not
word, right?
all the word.
Isn't that how words work?
All right. Apparently, the transformation has not been completed yet.
Not completely.
We broke the chain. Well, this is Knowing is Half the Podcast, and I am Ray Staccanes.
I'm Robert Chan.
I'm Gina Polito.
And we are breaking down the Palace of Doom, episode 3, guys, of the Weather Dominator series, and the last few episodes of G.I. Joe that we've yet to do from the mainline G.I. Joe.
We got 3 left. This is one.
This is one. I mean, we can do series 2. We can do Renegade. Like, there's still the movie, the live-action movies. G.I. Joe, the movie, we still haven't done yet, so there's still material.
We were just kidding about Ray killing himself.
Well, you might have been.
Like, air quotes around kidding. Like, we're kidding. But, you know, if you're thinking about it, I'll just give you some options. There's some clinics that you can talk to.
Ooh, we live in California, guys.
Yeah, I'm literally writing a pilot about an assisted suicide clinic.
Oh my goodness!
Which I don't think exists, but that has never stopped me before.
I think they go around to your house like a food delivery
door to door.
Yeah,
door to door.
Like you just get it from Grubhub.
Store to door. Yeah.
I was thinking like the Orkin Man, except he comes to your house and gasses you.
Yeah, you're like, I want some pad thai, some mango and sticky rice.
Gasses you.
Well, isn't that what the Jack Kevorkian
just
did?
get into the shower.
No,
and
I think
it
was shots. It was a combination of like needle.
Oh, I thought it was like a mask you already pumped like gas in, and you.
No.
What weird dystopian future do you live in, Ray?
Look, it happened in my home state. I think I would know, except I totally don't know.
I'm just waiting for Futurama suicide booths to happen. I feel like we're close to when they're supposed to be happening.
Trump's America, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the problem: is that the our health care system is going to be so jacked up that
suicide booths will be a thing.
That they'll replace it and they'll tell us it's a wonderful thing, and Jesus wants it that way.
The Paul Ryan booths. Just Paul Ryan giving you a big thumbs up as you walk in the door and put the nickel in. Chan, we got a new review. Definitely, I wanted to hear
a new zoo review.
I mean, you could just read it. It's on iTunes.
We like to do these things on the air, though. It's a podcast.
He wants you to read it to him so that you can see his excited boy face.
Well, that's a fact.
D. Fairborn posted a review, 5-star review,
Fairborn.
that says, "I found a home."
Oh,
so that's kind of nice.
Hey, that's very friendly. You can move in with me. It's cool. We got a room.
The G.I. Joe cartoon is basically his entire life. You know what? No, it's not his. It could be a his or her. There's no pronouns defined because it's D. So it could be a woman. So I'm going to say it is
Dietrich, but it could also be Diane.
Donna.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Dale is a man or a woman.
I mean, it's probably David, though. Let's just keep it.
Dennis/Denise, depending on
Twin Peaks.
The French, or it's Dennis, but it's in France, so it's Denise.
I see. Or Denis.
I choose to believe it's Dionysus, the goddess of wine.
Dionysus.
Thank you, Dionysus.
Yeah. Anyway, the cartoon was their entire life during the run, including the seasons no one likes to talk about.
Yep.
So They were listening to it in the background at work, but apparently we're so good that they ended up having to like rewind to hear the cool stuff that we said. So,
Oh, snap.
Yeah. And if they say if anyone there needs to take a sick day, to let them know so they can come and be on the show.
Chan's been begging
Thank
for a sick
you.
day for 2 years.
Unfortunately,
been given it now.
we record at his place.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem. I'm like, go away. They're like, no, we're here in your house right now. I'm like, why, how did you get in?
Guys, and over the last couple of weeks, we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary.
Oh, what's the 2-year anniversary thing? 1 year is paper. Is 2-year wood?
I think 2-year is high fives.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not sure what the
I thought we had
that
to give each
sounds
other wood.
weird.
give each other wood.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that kind of show, Gina.
I mean,
I couldn't imagine
guys
people
are-
listening to us at work. Like, that's the things we've discussed on the air. Not
I
limited
mean-
to Pokemon porn.
And splorches slash.
you do it with headphones.
Yeah.
I think is
I would hope that I just picture like the back of a kitchen or something, just like pumping us out. Like
What
we
kind
were
of
a radio
office
station.
do you work in?
No, I meant like a restaurant.
Oh, got it.
Like a
got
back
it.
of a kitchen.
Here's the question.
That'd be amazing.
Are we going to go with the traditional U.S. gifts for a second anniversary?
Of course.
Or the traditional British gifts for a second anniversary?
Oh, I
Well,
say U.S.
It has to be. We're an American show.
Year one for the U.S. is paper.
Paper,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
For the U.K. is cotton. Year two for the U.S. cotton. For the U.K. paper.
Oh,
Wow.
well, I say we do the U.S. because we got each other paper last year. So
Did
now
we?
Yeah. I think I left my notes here one day.
Well, Gina did
Tear
give
off
me
a
this
corner.
wonderful YouTube notebook.
That was technically from Samir, but I'll take
counts.
it. Yeah,
That
that's true.
That
Yeah.
counts.
All right. Ray got a gift of paper.
You guys,
I remember
year
I-
three
Yeah,
in
what's year
both
three?
is leather. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
need to make it to year three.
Yeah. So that is the wood part.
We need to make it to year 3 and 50 reviews so that Chan can wear his.
We still need. How many reviews do we have right now, Chan? Because we did want to get to 50, so Chan would shave his head to do the Dr. Mindbender
They're
cosplay.
inching up. It's at
Halloween.
41 now. So
Whoa.
Okay, guys.
Oh, wow.
So if you're out there and you have not given us a 5-star review, please go in there and do it because we want to get to 50 by October.
Oh.
hell, I'll do it for a 1-star review.
Whoa.
Well, let's not get crazy.
Come on, give us a 1-star review.
Do not.
It makes
do
me
that.
so happy.
The touch, the feel of cotton, the fabric even lives.
How did that devolved into some weird ass Kristen Wiig character by the end of it? The fabric of
Guys, one more thing before we get into the episode. I want to talk about patreon.com/knowing is half the podcast. We just bypassed the latest month, and we have some new episodes that just hit the vault, and I just wanted to mention that. I want to mention our wonderful listeners who are on the Patreon right now. Give them a shout out on the air. So we have Brian Rapp, who is one of the greatest human beings of all time. We have Dave the Usher, another fine fellow.
Yay.
We have Shane A. Abel. We have Alan Brandt.
Oh, wait. Shane A. Abel doesn't get a fine gentleman shout out?
You know what? He's a pretty cool guy. I like that guy. Alan Brandt is pretty rad.
Ray,
Mike Jacobs is
for the
great.
record, has run out of adjectives
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
knows.
He's
Don't
like,
have
nice,
anymore.
great, stand up, awesome.
Neat.
Well, thank you very much for being a part of our Patreon, guys. If you guys want to join in, it's for $5 a month, you can join the super secret bonus vault.
Wait, are all of our Patreon subscribers gentlemen?
Yes.
Gentlemen of leisure?
So we need a lady on our Patreon.
We need a lady of leisure.
Come on, a lady of leisure. We just added Rubik's The Amazing Cube in over the last few days.
Guys, it's real bad.
It's a wonderful show. I also added in a 15-minute, about 18 to 20-minute conversation we had with Buzz Dixon before we recorded our episode with him a few months back.
Ooh, yeah.
And I just thought there was some really good stuff in there, and so I added that on as well.
There's
As a-
always good stuff when
Wait a
Buzz
minute.
is involved.
Did you take like stuff that was like before
Yes.
we?
But Buzz said it was okay. We talked about this.
Yeah, but did Chan say it was okay? Was he talking about murder plots?
No, we were talking about like comedy and cartoons and writing.
Okay, good, good.
Nothing. We weren't like doing our usual
Did I?
tearing down the people we know.
Yeah. We don't usually do that. I just wanted to make sure I didn't publicly say my social security number.
Well, no, you did that.
Okay, good,
Definitely that. So for $5, you can get Gina's Social Security.
Guys, I'm not joking. I have a really, really, really high credit score.
Guys, let's talk about G.I. Joe. This is an episode called The Palace of Doom. And I'll tell you right now, going into it, just halfway through this episode, I was like, this is why G.I. Joe is amazing to me. This episode really stands out for me as just a standard example of why I love this show. You had everything. You had one-liners, crazy characters, great locales, fun battles. Just everything about it was wonderful. And then there's Chan.
I thought it was okay.
I mean, we'll get to. There are definitely parts that I enjoyed.
Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're talking about G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
The cartoon.
Right.
Yeah.
I got it.
The show from 1984.
Oh, got it.
Wait a minute, I was thinking of
I thought we were
Misfits.
talking
I was
about
thinking
the
of
movie
UK show.
Howard the Duck. Yeah, I knew what we were talking about, but I remembered that halfway through this episode, a giant mecha cobra shows up, so
Yes, it
I am on
does.
board. I am now on board.
That Mecha Cobra, they tried to kickstart. This is true. They tried to kickstart just in the last 6 months a toy of that Mecha Cobra thing.
What?
Yeah, and it actually it was forced to be pulled for copyright reasons because Hasbro or whoever stepped in and said, "You guys can't make that. That's our IP."
That's
and they're
some
like,
bullshit.
"But nobody's making it."
Oh, I would buy that.
I would buy that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
My wife would also divorce me for buying that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, if we want to jump right ahead a little bit, that is the thing that kind of when it came out, I was like, "Oh, I remember that robot."
Yep.
Then the big old statue came to life, and I'm like, "What is this bullshit? What is this?" And then they started fighting. I'm like, "Whoa, oh, okay, I get it now. This
yeah.
is just the writer just flipping double birds. Like, I don't give a fuck."
I
Like,
loved
yes,
it
this
because
is-
I wanted them to fall in love and have monster babies, Monster Island babies.
Well, for all we know, they did.
Yeah, once we get to the end, I will
Monster babies.
tell you my theories on
Is that
them.
the follow-up to Muppet Babies? Is
Monster
Babies. Skeeterial, now available on
Yeah.
Boardwalk Audio. Well, we open up with Flint. Mutt went overboard and had that really upsetting, choking in the sand moment.
he was real choking.
It was like making me feel something. So Flint grabs a shovel and says, "I'm gonna go out there and take care of Mutt and not bury him. I mean, go dig him out." And then Shipwreck says, "Hey, put this tether on." And I'm like, "Well, this makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
This is how you would attack this problem." So he ends up digging Mutt out, puts him in, and then what I appreciated is that he digs up Mutt. And then Flint is still wearing the tether, but Mutt is just walking right next to him, completely unattached to anything. You think he would have attached the tether also to Mutt?
I mean, it's not water. It's not like he's gonna blow away. But I want to know, where is Junkyard during this?
Oh, he's still on the boat, I assume.
no, he was back at base.
But he
Somehow
shows
he
up
got
with
in there.
them.
What?
He shows up with them.
Yeah, he's with them. Junkyard is because he fights in the bar.
Right. No. Yeah, when they got split up from Roadblock and them, Junkyard made it back to G.I. Joe base because he's there when Mutt shows up.
No.
they
when they show up
together.
because the guys that are back at base are like, "Oh, hey," because I took note of this. They say, Flint, Junkyard, Mutt, and I was like, "Oh yeah." They said Junkyard second.
Well,
So-
nobody's happy to see Mutt.
But what I want to know if because I didn't notice him on the boat. If he was on the boat, you would think he would be frantic that his owner is drowning in sand.
No, I think he's free. He's like, meh, there he goes.
I think that they forgot about him for a while, and then when they drew them back at the base, they're like, "Oh crap, we forgot about Junkyard."
Yeah, because he's
Draw
been
him
there.
in there.
Remember, he had the boots to fight the Cobra guys so they could get the disguises.
He fights the mutant dog at the bar.
So he's
Right.
there. He doesn't
Right, but
just,
then there was the Vine situation.
No, that was before the
was
mutant
before that.
fight.
Yeah.
The mutant fight is the last thing that happens
Yeah.
right before they take the sand boat out, because that's when they meet Shipwreck.
Right.
The Vines was before that.
Huh.
Yeah.
You guys, I have no idea what's going on right now.
we're in a different timeline. We're in the darkest timeline. What I appreciated this is the fact that they get the boat back up again. They hide under the sail because that makes sense to me. And then Shipwreck's like, "Well, let's just put the thrusters on." It's like, Dick,
Why didn't you
were we
do that in the
so-
first place?
Why were we sailing?
Also, I don't think that's how sand works.
That is not how sand works. That's not how sand boats work. If you didn't use the thrusters to escape detection from Cobra, why the fuck are you using them now?
I mean,
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
yeah.
your sail's broken. I guess you don't have a choice.
The sail's not broken.
Oh, that's true, huh? Well, we use the thrusters to get out of there, and it's fine.
Also, what is this grappling hook bullshit? Fucking Shipwreck pulls out a grappling hook and then hands him the other end of the rope and say, "Use this to hang on." He's a fucking sailor. Why isn't he fucking tying a knot
a good
around the
point.
mast
That's a good
like
point.
sailors do?
He's a lazy sailor, Chan.
Yeah.
I would start
he
there.
skipped knot day, I feel like.
He skipped leg day. He skipped knot
A
day.
grappling hook is possibly the single worst thing. You'd have better luck fucking scotch taping the rope to the deck. I'm not a fan.
Maybe that was his backup plan.
Thank you. Who's to say he didn't? Okay, so this is the meat of this entire miniseries right here. The Weather Dominator, back at Cobra Base, the Weather Dominator has blown up into 3 crucial components and blown to the 3 corners of the Earth. This is very standard G.I. Joe stuff. They're going to kind of mirror this storyline in the Pyramid of Darkness, which comes next.
That is some grand exposition there from Cobra Commander.
I love it. So he just basically lays out, here's what we're going to do the next 3 episodes of this show. Yep. Number 1, we have the Ion Correlator, which ended up on the Island of No Return.
Sure.
So what is an ion correlator? Maybe you could help me out with that.
We discussed this. We discussed this last episode.
I love asking you those questions. And so he says Baroness and Zartan to go to the Island of No Return to retrieve that. Number 2, the Palace of Doom now houses the Hydro Master, and he sends Major Blood to go get that one. Number 3, the Laser Corps from the beginning of all this goes to the roof of the world, what looks like the Himalayas or some other like snowy mountain area. Because it's G.I. Joe and we go to different zones.
Let's back up real quick.
Yes.
That right there is from Zartan and Baroness taking off to go to the Island of No Return.
But it was very clearly Major Blood.
It's our good friend Major Blood.
I noticed that.
Who then immediately shows up when Cobra Commander tells him to head off the Palace of Doom.
I picture that happened in Major Blood's head. Like he zoned out, he wasn't paying attention, so he was imagining himself going. And then Cobra Commander's like, and Major Blood, he's like, oh.
Well, we do know that Baroness it mimics people's voices perfectly.
It's true.
She's just fucking around.
Yeah. She's like,
look, I'm Major Blood. I'm on this trip. Cobra!
Wouldn't it be stupid if he was here and he did that? What a loser.
Yeah, like I bet she turned to Zartan and she was like, hey, check this out. I'm gonna really confuse Cobra Commander. And now they're still giggling about it.
And then Zartan's like, no, it's more like Cobra. no, it's like this, Cobra. Just trading Major Blood impressions back and forth.
You got to do something on that long trip.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Here's the deal. Holds up. Do you have a sound pull for me here, Chan? Because there's a line when they're talking to Torpedo.
Is this the dude that says real bad, man? Real bad?
No.
Okay.
He does, but this is a different part where it's just like he gives Torpedo what I think is the most unfortunate nickname that he could have possibly given him.
Is this the dude with the crazy voice?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it look from Seaside, Pedo?
Oh, no. You can't nickname him Pedo.
Oh, I heard Pete. Oh,
my God.
Like say Steve-O.
No.
But he shortened Torpedo to Pedo.
Which,
Wow.
Call him Tor or something, like in Bring It On.
Yeah, that
even
is...
back then, you have to know what pedo means.
But also, I feel like Torpedo should pull him aside and he should be like, hey, man, I got to talk to you about this nickname you gave me. People are starting to talk.
Hold on now.
You yelled it at me in a crowded square where there were lots of kids.
Here's my thinking.
Yes.
His real name is Tor Wauki, like the famed Magic the Gathering character.
Okay.
His last
so far.
His nickname is Pedophile. And so what happened is they shortened Torpedophile into Torpedo.
Oh my goodness.
And thus shortening it again to Pedo doesn't actually
I have a different theory, which is that he was an actual pedophile.
Sure.
Oh, jeez.
No, we all agree that he's a pedophile.
Oh, I don't agree to this
No,
at
keep
all.
going. Continue.
And
What?
and through happenstance, he joined the Joes because
Yep.
everyone always joins up with the Joes. Like,
Right. He punched the Cobra, and they're like, you may be a pedophile, but man, you really hate Cobra. Join up.
Yeah, exactly. And then when they were coming up with nicknames, like they were like, hey, whenever we give out these names, we try and find out a little bit about you.
Oh, Jesus.
Like we call Shipwreck because he's a sailor. So like, give us a couple things that you like. And he's like, oh, okay, I really like hamburgers. I like film noir, and I like touching children.
Okay. Yeah.
And they were like, all right, well, we already got a guy that's called Burgers. We already got a guy that's nicknamed after film noir.
We call him Dick.
Yeah, and they were like, we can't just call you pedophile, so let's make it more military sounding. What's something that we could call you pedo and no one would really know?
Guys, all of this is upsetting. Can you imagine like Cobra like had some sort of like child like a ring of just like a human trafficking, and Torpedo was just there as a buyer, and when G.I. Joe shows up, he's like, punch that guy. I'm on the team now, guys. I was undercover.
Yeah, and they're like, we know you're a pedophile, but we're really hard up for recruits right now.
My goodness. I'm sorry I brought it up in the first place. I just think it's a very unfortunate nickname.
But wait, I want to get a soundbite because I think this is the dude that it sounds so strange.
Is that about Wild Bill?
He says, no, I know who Wild Bill is. But someone's like,
Gina.
Someone's like, how you doing, buddy? And he's like,
Really bad, man. Really bad.
that is a weird voice reading. Really bad, man. Really bad.
Yeah, it sounds. You know what? This is a proto Quick Kick. This is Quick Kick before it was Quick Kick.
Because we meet him in the next miniseries.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, here's the deal. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. So flipping back over again, Mutt, Flint, and Shipwreck are back. And immediately, it takes Shipwreck literally 3 seconds to hit on Lady J.
Wait, did you guys notice the really strange shot of Scarlet coming up into frame?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was very weird.
It's like an extreme close-up of Scarlet.
Yeah, like
and the shadows are hitting her weird.
And it's just like her like a real big close-up of her face.
You could basically see up her nose.
It was so strange. But yeah, I found it odd that and sad that he hit on Lady J. Shipwreck hit on Lady J, but not Scarlet. Like there's two hot chicks there. Just hit on both of them, man.
Yeah, but he was introduced to Lady J first.
I get it, but he seems to be introduced to her in a way that's like, ooh, there might be something going on between Lady J and this Flint guy.
Yep. And since he's Shipwreck, he's like, don't care.
That's true.
I'm getting on it.
Also, he may not like redheads.
Well, I think Shipwreck likes everything.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I also like that he later on he actually wedges himself in the back of the plane with Lady J.
Super weird.
Super like he's like, I'm gonna sit on your lap, Lady J. Is that cool?
Hey, is this bicycle built for two? Don't care.
I think this is the most egregious example of anyone can join the Joes. Because they just are like, all right, well, here's our base. Here's like how we get in. Oh, you want one of our planes? Yup, sure. Here you go. Get on in there. Here's a weapon.
15 hours ago, you were we found you at Cobra Base being a Cobra, but you seem okay now.
Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to let you sleep in the same place we sleep, so you could easily kill us in
here are all the security codes.
Yeah, it just seems, it's clearly the most egregious example of like, literally anyone can join us.
Well, yes. I mean, and this it's a slightly different origin story than what happened in Buzz Dixon's Most Dangerous Man in the World, where he was just like a washout, nondescript Joe who just kept surviving when every other person in his team would get killed on a mission. So he kept surviving over and over again, and they were like, oh, just put him on the team.
Yeah.
We need people who survive around here. Let's do it up. It's a retelling, that's all. And here's the deal. I loved it. I mean, Shipwreck is become, in the rewatch at least, he didn't used to be one of my favorite characters, but from us watching it again, he has absolutely become one of my favorite characters on the show. Without question. So let's cut back to Roadblock, who's overseeing like some Cobra trucks rolling by, and he gets attacked by large cats.
Yeah, racist cats.
Racist cat? Why are they racist?
What?
I feel like they just happen to like attack the first black man that comes out like out into the like. There's had to have been other people that are there. There's like Cobras that are there.
Right, well, no, I mean that is the weird. The weird thing is that they just left Roadblock there to do what? I'm not clear. There's a convoy of trucks that goes by that apparently Cobra hijacked.
Right.
But it's not like this is not high tech equipment or anything like this. Apparently they've got a bunch of fucking food.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, Roadblock. Could you just do a solo mission for us, man?
No, because he just crawled out of the vine pit, so he's still on his own right now. He hasn't reconnected with the Joes
yet.
So this is why he's sort of just like in the wilderness trying to find his way.
Okay, that's
Makes
right.
more sense.
Yeah.
I still think though that these cats gave a very like, what are you doing in this neighborhood type of vibe when they went after him.
You ain't from around here, are you, boy?
Yeah, like I was just like, oh, I like cats. I don't want him to hurt them, but I do feel like they're a little bit racist.
In your head, these mountain lions were like, oh, there goes the neighborhood. Maybe if we run him out of town, how about we put a burning cross by him? You think he'll leave then? It's like, well, I mean, or we could just like eat them.
Exactly.
Like, well, we don't have
exactly.
opposable thumbs, so I guess even though we would like to be as racist as possible, I guess second best would be to
Yes.
just slash him to death.
I
Yes.
picture in an alternate thing, there's like a white dude with like caught in a bear trap, like 50 feet away, and the mountain lions are like, no.
Yeah, the white dude has like accidentally like poured like seasoning all over himself.
He's wrapped in the Bjork meat dress.
Yeah, and they're like, nah.
Lady Gaga meat dress. That's what I mean.
Bjork is a swan dress. Thank
That's
you
a
very
swan
much.
dress. He could be wearing both.
But I do really like the fact that Roadblock is respectful to the cats and doesn't hurt them,
Right.
and he even leaves them with like a little joke. So I like this. I like that he didn't try and punch them or kick them at all.
I do have a problem with this.
Cats can climb, but they can't fly.
Neither can you, dummy. Neither can you. In fact, for this distance of hopping off of this tree,
a cat would be way better.
Way better at it.
I hadn't thought of that, but yes. Well, he ends up in this food truck, and I could do the sample
Yes,
of him
yes.
because he shines a light. He hears a person on there.
He
He
hears.
hears someone having an orgasm.
Exactly.
Let's
That's what he hears.
Yes.
he goes, that's some dude.
This
yeah.
is his thought. Who is this man?
Even like he shines the light, even though the cowboy hat is obscuring her face, you could see her boobs.
I mean, I don't know what kind of guys he has been hanging out with, but he hears that noise and then sees like, wow, what a tiny waist this man has. And that man's boobs are large.
I mean,
Look at his tiny feet.
all you had to do with the voice direction is just like, all right, make it a little more muffled. Don't go go like,
I think
then have the animators put a bulky shirt on.
here's the thing. I think even they could have just like had a generic noise of like she accidentally kicked something, and
Like a
he could have been
bucket
like,
falling
he could have been
over.
like, who's there? And then he could have just seen the hat because she could have been ducking down in the
Yes.
shadow, just seen the hat.
Yep.
Guys, 1987 artists fix this for us.
Guys, I'd like to say they did it perfectly. Thank you very much.
Did you say 1987 artists?
Yeah, I don't know what year this episode was.
This was from
Oh,
84.
this is 80.
Oh yeah, this is
I
the
thought it was
pre
83.
thing.
84?
Pre thing.
Okay. I thought you were confusing the 80s with 2017.
No.
I was like contemporary artists
No,
fix this.
but if I get a time machine, this will be the first thing on my to do
Sure,
list.
yeah.
is to go back.
Go back in time and fix the animation of
Yeah,
this one moment of
just
G.I.
this
Joe.
one tiny moment.
This really stuck out to me too as just like, what? Why did you have to do this? You
Yeah.
could have done it so it made sense.
Well, do you have the sample of Roadblock? It was the same thought that man babies across the internet felt when they saw the Doctor Who announcement.
Hollinger of Wild West Holland.
You're a girl.
What? Are you saying that girls can own companies?
Girls can get tied up in trucks too.
Girls can wear cowboy hats?
Girls understand food.
Girls are a thing, and not just a story I've been told.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I will say though
No.
that they talk for a little bit. He mentions G.I. Joe, and then you can audibly hear her panties drop.
Yeah.
True. That is
Yeah.
a fact. That is a G.I. Joe.
Care if you're with the Tooth Fairy. G.I. Joe?
Lady Boner.
She's like, fuck me
Tooth Fairy,
right now.
G.I. Joe.
I also like that he brings up you have the finest victuals. He mentions that he's a chef. What is he going to cook things? There's no stove. There's no like campfire on
Yeah.
this truck. Like what? Who cares if you're a chef? It's really the location of where we're going that's important here.
And I do want to say,
Truck full of good eats.
I 100% expected. Do 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 do.
This is like they say the titles of shows several times because at some point someone says the Late Show, and I was like, with James Corden.
No, the Late Show at this time was Tom Snyder.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right, huh?
All right.
So I'm actually, I wanted to go back and look at that specifically and try and figure out like what exactly that reference was, because I don't know if it was like it meant it was like laid back or old or
I thought
like,
it was just a general thing of like, oh, you know, those late shows, like shows back then before the show that was just
Yeah.
the boo.
But the Late Late Show also, it was like bad movies too, like old sci-fi movies and B movies.
Oh,
and stuff.
okay. No, that makes a little more sense.
You know,
It makes a little more sense.
Like the creeper horror theater, like Count Floyd from SCTV was that kind of a jam, if you remember that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'll buy that.
Well, guys, let's go to the Island of No Return.
You mean the one where the fucking G.I. Joes are windsurfing to?
Yes, they are. It's in the middle of the ocean, right? Am I mistaken here?
That's they've been windsurfing since the West Coast.
Straight hours of windsurfing.
Like, hey guys, could you help? Can we get on board the hovercraft or a boat? Something with a mechanical propulsion.
Their core is going to be real tight though after this, I think.
Oh, dude, these guys work out.
Like they're gonna have a tight core.
They got good lats.
Yeah, a lot of body twisting and things.
Right.
Well, I would just wrote down here the Island of No Return is a cool ass location. You've got a big island in the middle, this kind of like tropical-ish island, and then you've got a coral reef like halo surrounding it. And I'm just like, this place is cool as shit.
And I'm like, Moana. Whatever. I've been there, done that.
Moana, which came 30 years later.
I saw it before I saw this.
Oh, all right. Well, that makes the timelines hold up.
This stole from Moana.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra and Destro, fighting to save the day. He never gives up. He's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air.
G.I. Joe battle tank, batteries not included. G.I. Joe Dragonfly copter and attack vehicle, each sold separately from Hasbro. Now, back to G.I. Joe.
Okay, so they all just start fighting, just randomly. Like, there's no real plan here.
Wait, doesn't Lady J set off a booby trap or something? Is that something later?
Yeah, well, Wild Bill and Baroness
later.
attacks them and like has them beaten. Wild Bill comes in and makes the save on it, and then Firefly, and this is like, we haven't seen him a ton up to this point, he blows up a chunk of the coral reef to allow for boats to go through, and I'm like, Cobra's got like more of a plan than G.I. Joe does at this point.
Solid.
Yeah, I like this.
There's some tornado that was hanging around in the background.
Yep.
So there was going to come into play. Then it turns into a maelstrom somehow. Don't think that's how whirlpools work, but
well, we get one, so they must.
Yep.
And it happens right at the spot where Cobra blew the hole in the coral reef.
Yep.
So all the
That's
boats that are
super
on the way getting
inconvenient.
through, they're all getting stuck in the whirlpool.
Yep.
I'm on board. I think this is awesome, especially with because of the weather dominator making like snow on the Sphinx. And like the Alaskan igloos with the Eskimos are all melting.
That's fine.
We can have a whirlpool here.
Crazy ass tornadoes. It's kind of a bit of a coincidence that it hits exactly that point on the reef. But all right, no, I'll give him that. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, so let's head to the Palace of Doom now, because that's where we leave off. And Major Blood finally wakes up, and he shows up at the Palace of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And
still dreaming of being there with Baroness and Zartan.
I also like through that entire like battle at the Island of No Return, we have not seen Zartan yet. Zartan wisely is hanging out at his submarine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just being like, no.
This is back when Zartan still had some brains in his head.
Yeah. And he wasn't getting paid enough, so he was just like, I'm setting boundaries. This was my job title.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Anything beyond those job responsibilities, I am not doing.
Yeah, not in my contract to pick up your dry cleaning, Destro.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like a very specific conversation you've had in the past, Gina.
I don't want to pick up Destro's dry cleaning either.
Oh, so heavy. It's all metal.
It's all metal. Yeah. That's right. Okay, so we actually get some like legit tactics here in this fight, because Cobra is marching up to the temple like dopes, just like walking down the middle of this like, for lack of a better term, street, walking into the temple, and G.I. Joe actually attacks from multiple flanks. So they get them from the rear, and they get them from the left side.
I'm caught in a pincer's movement.
That is the writing of somebody who read a tactic thing once, and was like, I've heard of a pincer's movement.
Well, I just watched Game of Thrones episodes 9 and 10 of last season, and Jon Snow gets caught in a pincer movement.
Right, he is outflanked.
Yeah, but he's being pushed in on two sides at once, which is a pincer movement.
It is also known as a DP in certain circles.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I don't care.
Well,
I'm not going to go any further into where those
Don't worry about that.
places are.
Sometimes
Pornhub.com.
Sometimes in the
RedTube.
military, they have people come at the front and then come at the back and then come in the both hands and then in the mouth.
Yeah.
It's not a way you want a battle to go.
They call that a pincer movement.
Yeah, it's a London Bridge with additional, I don't know what you call those. Cupolas, side cupolas.
Capaldi's.
Yeah, it's named for
It's named for the Doctor Who.
That's not no, that's not.
They don't often show Doctor Who jerking off two dicks while taking one in the butt and the vagina and in the mouth.
Here's the thing.
Not in the movies I watch.
There's a 100% chance there is a porn that is a Doctor Who parody that features exactly those things. And now that there's actually a female doctor, the people over at Wood Rocket are like, oh, what are we going to do now?
God dang it.
They're just losing their minds.
Tits and relative dimensions in
Tits and
sperm.
Tits and real dicks in sex.
I'm not going with you guys at all.
There's got to be an S. There's got to be an S that makes this whole thing work.
In Susan. It's just
Tits and
Susan's
real
the
dicks,
star of it.
just Susan.
Yeah.
She was the first companion, wasn't she?
Yeah.
There you go.
Who was also his granddaughter, so this is a real weird porn.
Yeah, well, it's Time Machine, so she's barely legal now. They jumped ahead to when she is her 18th birthday, obviously. And the first Doctor, William Hartnell, is all like, yeah, it's time to get this on.
Grandfather? What are you doing, grandfather?
I was just happy to see actual military tactics used in a battle scene.
No, we're not done here. We're not done here.
Wasn't one to take it
the TARDIS noise happens when he comes. He's just all like, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
So that does give different meaning to Sonic Screwdriver.
And then he always disappears
Ooh,
for a
we
while right after he comes.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Okay, now we can move on.
I'm just saying many G.I. Joe fights show no military. There's no semblance of what's happening in this battle.
Sure.
And they decided to try this time.
Yeah.
And you guys take it immediately to Doctor Who porno somehow.
Well, here's the thing.
Because of
that
course you both
is immediately followed by send in the reserves, send in their air support, which turns out to be a bunch of fucking hang gliders and fangs. So they don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. They did windsurf all the way to the island of no return. You're not wrong, Chad. Okay, so we get some really cool little droids here, and I thought that was great. So they figure out they're going to send a team in of Gung Ho, Lady J, and Shipwreck to go in and retrieve the device while they keep Major Blood pinned down on the outside of the building. Cool. I'm down with all of this. Mm-hmm. And then they send in the Pack Rat droids, which were a real G.I. Joe toy that you could buy, which was the one that had little lasers on it, and they were like little bomb disposal droids that came out there.
And they sound like R2-D2.
And they are Star Wars droids, 100%. And like they shoot down the snake robots, and then they bow at each other. Freaking adorable. And I love them. They're so cute.
I feel like Lady J is always setting off booby traps.
That seems fair. It's a fair
I never
statement.
thought about it before, but yeah.
Here's the thing: you got to focus down on the footwear, and the only one who has decent looking footwear is going to be Lady J. You know that for a fact.
I guess that's true. But I just feel like she's like Chunk from the Goonies. Like they're like being really careful, and then she's like blah blah blah.
It is entirely possible that no one in the history of ever has said, you know what, Lady J is like Chunk from the Goonies. But I feel like we're setting new trends.
We're setting precedent.
We're
here.
creating.
I would argue that for Lady J, she knows Shipwreck is with her. She knows Gung Ho is with her. She knows traps are going to get set off regardless, so she has no reason to keep it safe.
Sure.
May as well be sloppy.
Sure.
With it.
I do take some issue with like Gung Ho shows up and is like, I fucking told you to stay at headquarters, and Gung Ho's like, fuck you, Flint. Okay, then. Head on in.
That's not how military works. To my knowledge.
To be fair, they're going on a military mission with a man they've known for 5 minutes.
Sure.
True.
So I feel like at that point he was like, yeah, all right, it would be nice just in case this guy's going to turn around and slit my throat at any point.
To be fair, though, I believe that this is an example of what Buzz Dixon was talking about with us when he said, like, they needed to understand how military things work to continue making this show.
This was before. Yeah,
before he came on.
Yeah. So he read that one thing. It was like, pinches movement. That's all the military I need. Let's move on.
Oh, you mean just cast members just show up even though they're not on the mission? Yeah, seems legit. No punishment.
But I feel like at some point someone would be like, hey, you guys know you can't just be in the military if someone meets you at a bar, right? You don't then just get to go on missions. There's a lot more involved than that.
So they're like, sorry, I did not hear a thing you said. The food truck is here. It's burrito time. Have a nice day. It actually kind of does make a little bit of sense that Lady J was like, wait a minute, I'm going to be in a fucking plane with this fucking new shipwreck fella.
Yeah.
You know what, gung-ho, I know Flint told you not to come. You're coming. And then when they go into the palace, it's like, yeah, I am taking Gung-Ho with me just in case.
How many times do you guys think on that plane ride did Shipwreck touch her knee to try and hammer home a point in a story that he was telling her?
He is literally
5,000%.
He is literally sitting on her lap already. So it's kind of a thing. At least we can be thankful that he didn't sit down first. Because then the entire way there,
boner in the butt.
Rub.
Yeah.
We got this turbulence happening. I can't control what my body does, Lady J. I did appreciate they go into the main center building of the temple where the giant statue is, which we'll get to in a moment. I love that the piece that they're looking for, the weather fragment, glistens like it's from a video game.
Yes.
And that just made me so happy. It was just like,
I wish that's how real life was.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to find my keys.
Yeah.
I walk into a room and they just start sparkling.
Or you're going to buy a scratcher at 7-Eleven and you're like, the one that has money that I will win is glowing.
Thank you.
I've thought of how that would be a cool ass mutant power.
I mean, it was from episode
winning the lottery?
3 or 4 of Twin Peaks when he goes into the casino and the little thing lights up over the one-armed bandits.
Yep.
Have you not seen?
Oh yeah.
And they start going
I was just
jackpot.
watching The Leftovers, and that's a thing that they Christopher Eccleston is at a casino and a pigeon lands on a table. And he knows to go back and bet on that. He's a religious man. He's basically a priest in the show. So it's very strange to watch because he is not doing his accent. He's American.
Sure.
And I was watching him and I was like, oh, Christopher Eccleston. Oh wait, that's not Christopher. Oh, Christopher Eccleston. No, that's not Christopher. He is a totally different person when he doesn't have his accent.
Here's what I want to know. Has Woodrocket made specific porns for each doctor?
God damn it, Chan.
Is there an Eccleston porn and a Tennant porn
I
and
hope
a Smith
so.
porn
I
and a
hope
Capaldi
so.
porn?
I hope so, and I hope that when they come, they have their catchphrases.
Oh, like Alonzi!
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
Here's the deal. Sure.
Geronimo.
This is where we get the first example of the statue has the glowing eyes. And we're like, uh-oh, we're not in Kansas anymore. Mm-hmm. And this happens in a Pyramid of Darkness at that temple where all the clay figures come alive with the red eyes.
Yeah.
So they're sort of just it's a trope that G.I. Joe likes to do. They go to a temple and then inanimate objects come alive and attack them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, why wouldn't that happen?
I mean, I was under the impression this was going to be one of those simple trap things like a boulder or darts or something.
Mm-hmm.
That seems more normal.
Oh,
but,
no.
I
we'll
have
get
an
there.
issue with this monster, and we'll get there later, but I just want to say his one job is to make sure the temple doesn't get destroyed.
Bad job, statue.
I mean,
just say that right now.
I don't think they planned for a second giant humanoid creature to
saying,
attack the temple.
At some point, you should have been like, hey, do you mind if we take this outside? I feel like we're kind of wrecking a lot of this.
How did that snake get into the temple? There are no doors big enough for it.
Oh.
There was only the tiny human door. All of a sudden, they turn around, and he's there.
Maybe he crawled.
He made himself real small, and then he made himself big.
Or he
like
transformed.
Alice in Wonderland.
Transformed into a motorcycle. He drank the drink me potion and became very small. It all holds up. Well, guys, before we get to the big fight, because that's the highlight reel of the episode, we go back to the island of no return, and Torpedo shoots torpedoes of all things, at the base of the whirlpool. And
You sure he didn't shoot other explosive pedophiles?
Wait, we also see
because that's his
Freedom.
namesake. What?
Is this where Freedom and Spirit are?
Yes.
They're coming up. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was curious on the science of shooting the base of a whirlpool that ends the whirlpool.
Nope.
Is that a thing?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, if something gets shot, it's going to stop whatever it's doing. It
Yeah.
doesn't want to get shot.
Thank you.
Because either it's in pain or it's like, hey, that wasn't cool.
So you're telling me the whirlpool gained sentience in that moment?
Yeah.
And said, hey, cut it out.
Yeah, like
I'm
I think
getting out
the
of here.
whirlpool was like, yo, jerk. What do you think you're doing? Oh, I'm really mad now. I am mad. I am mad at you. I want you to know it. I'm ignoring you.
You've hurt my feelings, Torpedo.
Yeah.
And we're not cool right now. I'm not saying we can't be cool in the future, but I need a cooling off period.
You bought a giant Mecha Cobra as a toy and then 20 t-shirts from Hot Topic. I am not talking to you.
That's a very real conversation, Gina. I don't know why you got to make it so personal. Wow. So Spirit.
How about some fluids-informed speculation? It's possible to stop a vertical vortex either by injecting dense material into the updraft or also by disrupting the circular flow in the wall near the core, which eliminates the centrifugal action and radial pressure distribution in a small region, essentially poking a hole in the barrage.
That's what I
Preserves the
said.
low-pressure core.
So, in other words, it's totally
Literally.
legit.
Could explosion
Literally
accomplish
exactly
the
what I
latter?
said.
Yet, any small brief disruption will probably heal rapidly, and the tornado continue as before. So we'd have to produce a disruption in which extent was a fair percentage of the central tornado diameter and of duration long enough to inject outside air sufficiently to eliminate the low central pressure.
I said all of that verbatim, but now since Chan is saying it and he's a man, you're going to listen to him.
Yeah,
Oh, it makes sense when Chan says it.
yeah. I'm sorry that you had to witness that display of sexism, Gina, on Ray's part, but that is sadly how our world works.
Well, okay then. Moving forward, Spirit, now him and Freedom decide they're going to go to the actual middle island to recover the piece.
Okay,
Yes.
so Freedom is Freedom's dead bird eyes are looking into my soul in this scene. Like he's just they just drew black circles, and
Yeah.
he's just like,
That was terrifying.
That is a creepy look that you were giving both.
like that's
Please don't do that anymore. Gina just gave both of us the dead-eyed look, and it was off-putting.
That's what I'm saying. I was watching this and I was like, they drew that bird scary.
Well, he's meant to be a scary bird.
I guess.
I was not on board with Spirit.
Possibility and impossibility are states of mind. In my mind, there is only the possible.
I like that philosophy.
That's some bullshit. Some third-rate Eastern wisdom bullshit.
Yeah, that's like I think the opening chapter of The Secret.
And yet, I feel like this actually sort of drags it away from the sort of Native American stereotype a little bit. It kind of infuses a little bit of sort of
Tony Robbins'
generic Zen mysticism into this character who has fucking feathers on. So we're basically talking about a village person. But okay, they're dragging it a little bit away from the stereotype. And then, like, the original conception was that he would be the chief foil to Storm Shadow, who is their ninja.
Right. It wasn't Snake Eyes originally. It was Spirit.
Yeah, and then that became some sort of, like, specifically ninja on ninja thing. But I kind of like the way they constructed this to be a sort of American ninja. Like, sort of like the place, the plot space that he fills is one of a ninja, but it is
But it's using the American traditions instead of the Japanese traditions.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
I'm done. I never
I
thought
kind
about
of
that
enjoy
before.
that.
Guys, American Ninja Warrior is so much worse than the original Ninja Warrior.
This is 100% true.
Well, yeah.
That means that 30 years ago they had a better handle on it.
That's
I mean,
true.
I mean, we all remember Michael Dudikoff, yes? Of course we do.
Of course we do.
Wait, did they ever have Spirit in the movies or Freedom or Spirit in the movies? No,
Not in
right?
the live
they
actions,
probably
no.
didn't want to touch that.
They cut
that
the
can
cast
of worms.
way down to make those movies.
I kind of want them to toss him in there.
I mean, maybe for the third one.
Yeah.
I mean, open up the folder. You know what I'm saying?
Listen
Like, we
to
could
us,
have lots of
people. We want them. Train a hawk. Train a hawk.
The thing they're doing with Hasbro now, I feel like they're getting a little more cartoony and they might open the door to that sort of thing. Because the idea was with these, like, we're going to pretend like they're actual real people, so you're not going to have fucking Quick Kick, which is weird ass shurikens, and you know,
and no shirt on or shoes ever,
just wandering around spouting John Wayne quotes
in the Arctic.
You know what? Maybe we'll hold him for later. We'll have a dude with the name Duke, and that'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm done with all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we also cut over to Zartan in his submarine, and this is where Baroness is like reaching out, being like, "Hey, Zartan, we got a goddamn battle happening over here. Maybe you'd like to join us." And the Dreadnoks are like, "Aren't you gonna respond?" He's like, "When I'm ready." I'll be ready when I'm ready.
I feel like something happened on the boat ride over between them.
Oh,
like
no.
she gave him an order or something, and he was like, I don't work for you. And she's like, oh, when you are with me, you are second in command to me. And he's like, no, I'm not. I just like mumbled it, but did what she said. And then so now he's like making a big show of like, yeah, she doesn't know who she's dealing with. And then he's going to be like, she's right behind me, isn't she? And she somehow snuck onto the submarine and is standing behind him.
I don't even think it's that. I think he's just got his own shit. He's like, fucking Mary was being such a bitch this morning. I told her I would take out the trash. And yes, I forgot it 2 days in a row. But you know what? I got shit to do, man. I'm the one paying the bills. What does she do is sit around the house all day watching her stories. God damn it. I got my own life. I want to go bowling, and she wouldn't. And so this is his thing going on. And she's like, Zartan. I'm like, I'll get to you. I'll get to you.
If I want to buy 20 T-shirts at Hot Topic like a normal grown man, I'm going to do it.
It's my money.
Again, this is getting
my
very
money.
personal. I actually believe it's something that it's even more simple than both of them.
I literally bought shirts yesterday. I bought a bunch of Hawaiian shirts too without Sarah. I just went to Goodwill and bought some.
I just think
I'm very much feeling this thing that you're saying right now.
I think the Baroness just referred to his hood as hair, and that was it. It's a little thing that pisses him off.
Ooh.
I mean, at that point, I would be like, if you don't want people to think it's hair, you shouldn't fucking wear it.
It's who I am. It defines Zartan.
Also, I feel like, doesn't that hood get hot at some point? And doesn't it blow off? Is he using double-sided tape to keep the hood on his head?
Scotch tape, just like Flint.
Or
and
like
Shipwreck
spirit
with the,
gum? Like
grappling hook.
Spirit gum?
Actually, in this universe, Scotch tape is the most like powerful adhesive in the entire universe.
Yeah. It's something that a 12-year-old boy could identify with. Like, I understand Scotch tape. It holds all things together.
It's all true. Okay, let's talk about the main event right now.
Yeah.
Giant snake robot and the statue throw down in the temple. They both breathe fire on each other.
Mecha Cobra versus Stone God.
I love
what is that
title.
robot called?
Mecha Cobra.
No, it doesn't. It definitely has
the
a
robot?
name. Yeah.
Mecha Cobra.
I like Mecha Cobra and I like Stone God. I think Gina hit the nail on the head immediately. I love their throwing down. I love that there is actually like a real battle happening with real thought involved, sort of.
I'm telling you, this is their like meet cute moment. This is their like fighting. They're gonna take that temple down all around them. There's gonna be like smoke and dust everywhere, so people won't be able to see. And then when the dust clears, they're gonna be like cuddling, like post-coitus snuggling, and like they're gonna be like ooh, and then like one of them is gonna be smoking a cigarette.
They'll be spooning.
Yeah, exactly. They just need to get all their frustration out.
Who's the top in that relationship? Is it Mecha Cobra or is it Stone God?
Stone God is more of the bottom to me.
I mean, I feel like this is a real May-December thing, so you're going to have the Stone God.
The Stone God is a lot older than Mecha Cobra. Are they going to be able to make that work?
Yeah.
I think they're going to fight a lot.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, they're not going to be able to understand each other's references. Like, one is a robot and the other one is, powered by ancient Mayan mysticism.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if those kids can't make it work, there's no hope for anybody. So let's cut back to the island of no return. And Spirit found the item. He found the weird, like, I don't even know, it's like not a cube. It's like a trapezoidal cube. Is there a word for that? I'm sure there is.
It's shaped like one of those 16-ton weights.
There you go. It is. The ones that Monty Python drop on people's heads.
And apparently it's floating in the water because that's a thing that a 16-ton weight does.
So he just ties a rope around it, pulls it in, and then Storm Shadow shows up, and they start throwing down.
And then Freedom bites a ninja star
The fuck?
out of the air.
All caps, I just wrote because I was just losing my... I was just like, fuck, Freedom grabs star? What is that even? How? No.
So, guys, I didn't even make a note for that because it seems so normal to me.
I loved it. I loved it because, like, this plus the Mecha Cobra fight, I loved the combo. And I was like, oh, in an alternate universe, that would have taken his little bird face right off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's taking one on the nose.
But he fucking bit it out of the air.
Well, Freedom is a ninja as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's true.
You don't think Freedom's a ninja? He just bit a throwing star out of the air. If that doesn't make you a ninja, I don't know what does.
I guess I have to concede that point.
And then we get to the final scene here. This is the big denouement of the episode. And we're back at the Palace of Doom. Yeah,
this is where this Guardian is doing a terrible job of guarding.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, even if he wins this fight, he took down so many support walls.
Well, to be fair, this is where we have the most bizarre exposition in Act 3. I think we've seen it in an episode. Tripwire runs over to Flint in the middle of the battle and says, hey, I was using my metal detector in the woods nearby for no good reason.
The fuck is that?
I think
at some point, Flint says this thing is shaking like a 10-cent milkshake. Yes, I had a lot of problems with the one-liners in this scene.
There's some strangeness.
I do want to say that there is actually one that worked for me. Now I'm recalling at some point in the distant past, I used to do a thing where there would be like lines that I actually appreciated.
Yes.
It's been so long that I've completely forgotten. But apparently, there was like a decent one that was.
Now I know what I always hated about dry land. No place to dive.
Like, it makes sense for his character. Yep. It actually makes sense in the situation.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly, but also, it's kind of fucked up that you'd be used to like, I have an escape route. I don't have any escapes here.
You can't jump overboard from a temple.
But I don't know why a 10-cent milkshake would shake more than a $2 milkshake.
I had some issues with that line as well.
Like, is it because malts are more expensive because they're adding more malts, whereas like a cheaper milkshake is like mostly water, so it's like shaking a lot in the cup?
Maybe they're trying to blend it together with cheaper materials because it's a 10-cent milkshake, and so they shake it extra to really like bond it together.
Blend it together.
This is me just spitballing here. I've got no idea what a 10-cent milkshake.
It might be a reference to an old McDonald's, like the price of a McDonald's shake.
Oh.
The important thing is that it brought all the bots to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Okay, so... Yeah, so a McDonald's back in the 1950s had 10-cent milkshakes that I guess people thought were not very good. That's all I got.
So this is bad and shaking. It's a bad shake. It's a bad shake is what it is.
All right, I got it. Now I want a milkshake.
Okay, so there's an earthquake happening because it's not bad enough everything else is going down. We're going to add an earthquake in Act 3 to the big giant battle between the robot and the statue.
I thought, was it an earthquake or was it just like they've knocked down so many walls that now the thing is collapsing around them?
Both. They're knocking down the walls, but also Tripwire runs out to say, I was using my metal detector in the nearby jungle, and I found there's a giant earthquake headed this way.
Oh, great.
And so the whole thing just gets effed sideways. Some crevasses happen. People have to jump the crevasse.
Yeah, we're going to talk about how Gung-Ho and Shipwreck are like, yoop, and then the girl's like, I can't jump.
Well, it was, to be fair, she was the third in line, so the crevasse was larger when she had to go than the first two guys.
Don't make excuses for her.
There was no line. They were fucking running next to each other.
Yeah. She's a giant, too.
She's a large woman, yes.
Like, she should be able to jump that.
Yeah.
Well, especially since she's got a javelin she could use to, like, hurdle herself over.
Yeah, also it's way easier to jump with a vagina.
Yeah. You have those extra bits, like, flapping in the air as you're going over.
Yeah, those things are trying to pull you down.
Always.
Kind of sort of understand how they might have been like, oh, she's got them javelins. Let's have her do a pole vault because that'll be kind of cool. In that case, you have something happen. So like the other two are getting ahead of her and she's like falling behind or like she tripped or something like that. And then yes, there's enough time for the crevasse to get even bigger. And then it's not just like, I'm a girl. I can't run in high heels.
Well, what gets so weird about it is she ends up jumping because, like, the robot fight is coming right towards her. So she's like, I gotta go.
Yep.
She pole vaults over,
Yep.
and then they end up, like, the other side of where they jump to, like, also breaks up. So they're on a rock in the middle of a whole, like, pit around them. And so they're just boned sideways. So, like, we go through all the trouble of jumping the crevasse just to make it also not mean anything, which I thought was a little bit strange.
Then they brought out this weird little bridge thing that I've never seen before, and I don't think we ever see again.
No, perfect use of the bridge layer would have been here, but
Yeah.
bridge layer maybe.
Yeah.
What that thing was.
I don't know.
is-
Yeah, it was very strange.
It was a plot device that wasn't very good. That's
Oh,
what I would
right.
say.
I forgot there was a little DEM written on the side there that I didn't notice. It's like Deus Ex Machina. That makes
There it
sense.
is. Thankfully, we have this one thing that we need in this very specific
Right.
situation.
We've been carrying this motherfucker around since California, and
Maybe this is the reason they created the bridge layer, because 2 of the 3 people they tried to save on this thing don't get saved. It's a
that's
very
good call.
bad percentage play.
yeah.
So Gung Ho and Shipwreck end up falling in the pit with the robot and the statue, and then and Major Blood also in the middle of all of this. They end up dropping the Weather Dominator piece, and Major Blood found a Fang glider somehow, and he swoops in and grabs the piece and flies away.
Single use of a Fang glider. Single acceptable use. Although, I mean, if you do the math and the physics of it,
And I will not.
Fang glider, object falling,
Yep.
Fang glider coming towards, here is object hitting Fang glider.
Yeah.
Here is object falling, Fang glider passing over it.
Could he have come in kind of sideways, like on a swoop up?
That's
grab
not
it,
what
maybe?
he did. He
No,
came in
it's not.
straight.
I'm trying to make sense of it. Well, here's the deal. I think he's just very strong, and he timed it perfectly. He just reached out, grabbed it, didn't that was it.
Maybe he knows the name of the wind.
He knows the name of the wind.
Was that like some Pocahontas shit?
And it winded him in the exact right direction.
Oh, there was a cosmic wind that pushed the object up from under and up into his arms.
Yeah,
I get that. That holds up.
It's like a Bette Midler thing, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I need to deliver Weather Dominators.
I can fly higher than a Fang glider.
Then specifically an eagle named Spirit.
Freedom, sir. Thank you.
You
Oh,
are the
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't I literally I've had to transpose the name Spirit and Freedom like 3 different times
They like
in
to
my head.
they like to
from
do
these
this
notes.
with guys and their pets, where it's like who's the human and who's the animal.
Yeah, it doesn't make this like Mutt
Mutt
and
and
Junkyard, but the
Junkyard.
same
It's
thing.
like those are interchangeable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have to do the same thing with them.
Wait till we get
Same.
to the G.I. Joe cartoon movie, and you get Law and Order.
Oh,
Law is the
God.
man, order is the dog.
Law and Border
It's
Collie.
basically New Mutt. That's what they were going for right there.
Ooh.
Except I think he's Hispanic, so it's cool.
Is it though?
A lot of diversity in the later G.I. Joes. I thought it was kind of cool.
I mean, they always had some sort of.
Yes, you're right.
diversity.
Like spirits. What happened to Snake Eyes? This is the one question I had watching this episode. Like, for being like a benchmark character of this show, he hadn't done shit in this entire miniseries.
He's got radiation poisoning.
Well, I mean, that's what they've been. That's what we've heard multiple times is that Snake Eyes was not much of a presence in the cartoons. It was over in the comics where like he became a
dominating.
thing,
Yeah.
and then
Because he appears again, like him and Shipwreck, right? They go in the Pyramid of Darkness, which happens next. They end up like invading the Cobra Temple and doing all that stuff, and then that's where you get Timber dancing on his hind legs.
I bet Snake Eyes has such a stupid voice. I bet that's the real reason. Like he's quiet. Like he's like, "Hey guys."
He's like
is that another
Bobcat
Kristen
Goldthwait.
Wiig character.
Yep.
But, Snake Eyes got a lot more work before talkies were a thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's the end of the episode, everybody. The rock collapses on them, and they all fall in the pit and die, I guess. So that's
I'm sure that's how this
On
ends
the
up.
way to the bottom of the pit.
the statue and the robot like look in each other's eyes.
Yeah, and then they put on their best suit, which because their closets also fell down the pit and are falling at the exact same speed.
My bureau.
They put on their best suits. A bunch of guns fell down into the pit at the exact same time.
A bunch of giant robot-sized guns.
Falling at the exact same time.
And a mirror, so they could salute themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Did their bedrooms fall with them too? Is that a thing that
Just
happened?
specific things in their bedrooms.
The whole...
Like the bureau.
Well, they had an apartment in the temple.
So
when the temple collapsed, all the stuff fell out. I mean, it makes sense if you think about it.
God damn it. Of course, it'd be rent controlled.
In the jungle.
Now they're going to come in and put like a Starbucks there.
They're going to gentrify.
Yeah, they're going to gentrify the crap out of it.
Suddenly you've got the stone god working as a barista.
Yeah, and people are going to be like, oh, ignore him. He's kind of mad because, but at least we're hiring local.
And that's the episode of The Palace of Doom, episode 3 of the Weather Dominator miniseries.
That is pretty good because normally someone that old would have to get a job as like a Walmart greeter.
So it's not that bad. And he's like, it could be worse.
Yeah. It's a liver.
Unfortunately, though, he gets fired for making super racist comments that he doesn't even think about.
Yeah, you feel
really
bad
old.
for him at first, and then you're like, oh, fuck you.
I mean, to be fair, 3,000 years ago, that is what they called.
Don't make excuses for him.
It was a different culture of him growing
different
up.
Language. Like the continents were in different places.
Don't make
I feel
excuses for him. He needs to update as the world updates, Chan.
I mean, literally, he has been turned off for the last 900 years until somebody stepped on his
I get
tile.
it. He only watches reruns of Murder, She Wrote. He can't be expected to...
Look, at least
Has
treat
Murder, She
people
Wrote
as
been around that long?
Treat people as well as Matlock treated people. That's all I'm trying to say. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for listening to The Palace of Doom, as we were just saying. Is there anything more you guys want to get off your chest before we... No. Not even a little bit.
When's that Taco Bell going to open up by you, Chan?
I'm sorry, I don't even know that it's Taco Bell. They haven't taken down that sign, but they also took it off the Taco Bell map.
Oh, man.
Location map, so I don't know.
They're going to change to a Del Taco just to make everybody unhappy.
Oh, my God. If there were French fries this close to my house.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you very much for listening. Once again, you can hit us up on social medias. You can hit us up facebook.com/knowingishalfthepodcast. You can catch us on patreon.com/knowingishalfthepodcast. We're on Twitter, but you can also join President Serpentor. Serpentor is around in an alternate 2017 future.
He's been getting some interesting comments back.
He has. President Serpentor. Should I read that on the air?
Oh,
sure.
God.
I mean, we got a moment still. President Serpentor has been tweeting every single day since inauguration because he is now the president of the United States. This I command. He put on a red trucker hat.
Thanks, Middle America.
Yeah, thanks, Wisconsin. Looking at you. And so President Serpentor, he most recently tweeted, if you squint really hard, my 36% approval rating looks like a dolphin, and that is not so bad. And so he got a tweet at him from somebody on Twitter who only has 2 followers, so who even knows what's going on?
I feel like this is Chan trolling you. I'm going to be honest.
No. I looked it up as Keith K. Richards 1 because
Yes.
I originally typed Keith Richards 1 because I was like, oh, wow, I'm surprised that someone managed to get Keith. This guy must have been around a long time, and then I came up with someone else. So I was like, oh, this is not it.
No photo attached to this Twitter, not even an egg, which is strange. So here's the quote, hey, maybe you know. What up with all the Wongdos this year? Don't see anybody playing but zippers, Wongdos.
I have
And I sent that to you guys, and nobody could make heads or tails of it.
Well, here's the thing. I believe the Women's U.S. Open is happening soon.
Yes, the Women's U.S. Open is happening right now.
And I believe there's someone named Wong.
Is there? I'm not. I won't pretend to know women's tennis. I know Venus and Serena Williams.
No, that's Wimbledon.
Oh, that's Wimbledon happening right
Yep.
now. So who even knows?
I hate the people who say that they really like Pres Serpentor because he's a genetically engineered Superman.
Yes.
And not a politician.
Yeah.
I just really think that they're not looking at the big picture here.
And they say, well, he's got a great family around him, but he didn't help raise those kids.
Nope.
He didn't raise Pythona. Let's just keep it real right now. The maids raised Pythona.
Also, they keep talking about how he's looking out for the common man, but he's got a throne of solid gold.
Thank you. He wears a gold armored plated suit. I'm just saying. Like, I just couldn't believe during the campaign when President Serpentor said that he could literally throw a snake into heart of somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and people would still vote for him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was right, I guess.
I mean, here he is. He's president of the United States right now.
Really showed us.
But not doing well. Not doing well in the polls.
No.
Serpentor Care has been a failing policy.
But among Serpentor's base, they're still sticking by him.
They love him.
They're still sticking by him.
They just love him.
There's nothing he could do at this point.
Nope. Just got to ride it out, I guess.
Yeah.
So you guys should follow @Prez with a Z, Serpentor on Twitter. It's a great follow.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, new content. Dear Lord. You can also hit us up on Twitter, @G.I.Joe Podcast. Or individually, you can hit me up. I'm @Almighty Ray.
I'm at 999 RPMs.
I'm @Gina Ippy.
And we'll be back next week with part 4 of the Weather Dominator series. Ooh.
He was trying to do that orgasm noise that chick on that train made. What's this giant man doing over here?
The man with the large breasts. I don't know, but I've been told this lady looks hot and she doesn't look cold.
Oh, man, it was like he was in the room for a second.
Roadblock's with us. I'm out of ideas. Good night, everybody.